Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every life when the burden feels too great to bear. The road gets rough, the nights get long, and the heart grows weary. Maybe you're there right now, carrying more than you ever thought you could. Grief, stress, fear, or failure. It can feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. But I'm here to tell you, you were never meant to carry it all alone. There is a strength greater than yours, a love deeper than your pain, a presence that never leaves, even when everyone else does. You may feel forgotten, but you are not forsaken. You may feel weak, but there is power waiting for you. You see, when life is too heavy, that's not the end. That's the beginning of surrender. And in that surrender, there is peace, there is hope, there is help. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. There are seasons in life when the burdens we carry seem far too heavy for human strength. Pressures from every side, voices that confuse, expectations that crush, failures that haunt us. These weights pile up quietly and suddenly, and before we know it, we're staggering under their weight. Maybe it's the loss of a job, or the death of a loved one, or the crumbling of a relationship you poured your heart into. Maybe it's the daily grind, the silent pain no one sees, the guilt of past mistakes that won't loosen their grip on your soul. Whatever it is, you feel it in your chest, in your thoughts, in your sleep. And the truth is, your hands are tired, your back is bent, and your spirit feels like it's about to break. But friend, this is where you come to a crossroad. This is the point where you must ask a question deep in your soul. Am I going to keep dragging this weight alone? Or am I finally going to let go and give it to the one who is greater than me? See, there's a power available to you, not of your own making, not found in the world, not earned by effort, but a power that comes when you lay your burdens down at the feet of God. When you say, I can't do this anymore, that's not weakness. That's the beginning of divine strength taking over. You weren't created to carry everything. You were created to trust. You were never asked to figure it all out. You were asked to believe. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means surrendering what was never yours to begin with. You don't have to carry the weight of saving your marriage alone. You don't have to carry the burden of your children's future alone. You don't have to fix every broken piece of your life. You don't have to pretend to be strong when you're not. When you let go, when you open your hands and release the heaviness you've held onto for so long, something happens. Peace that passes all understanding begins to rise within. Hope that was buried starts to breathe again. And strength not your own starts lifting you up, one moment at a time. We all get to the point where the load becomes too much. And there's a reason for that. It's not to punish us. It's to remind us that we are not the source. It's to bring us back to the place where we say, God, I need you. It's in those moments, in those valleys, where the most beautiful encounters happen. The moments when you feel like you've lost everything are often the moments when you discover that you were never alone. There is a loving hand reaching out, ready to take what you can no longer carry. There is a peace whispering in the chaos, ready to calm your storm. But you must make the choice to release, to trust, to stop trying to carry the weight of your world, when it was always meant to rest in the hands of the one who formed it. The world teaches us to toughen up, to push through, to handle things ourselves. But there's a better way, a higher way, a way that leads not to burnout and breakdown, but to rest and restoration. There's a quiet invitation, spoken not in the noise of life, but in the stillness of the heart. Come, give it to me, all of it. The worry, the fear, the pain, the regret, the unknown. Bring it all, and lay it down. You don't have to understand how it will work out. You don't have to see the whole path ahead. You just need to take the step of surrender. And the moment you do, the moment you say, I'm done carrying this, is the moment God begins to carry you. Not in your strength, not in your timing, but in His power and purpose. The burdens don't always disappear overnight. The storms don't always stop when you want them to. But the difference is this: you are no longer walking alone. You are no longer fighting battles in your own strength. You are no longer sinking under the weight, because the one who holds the universe is holding you now. So many people live exhausted, anxious and afraid, because they've been trying to manage what was never theirs to manage. They try to control every outcome, fix every problem, hold everything together with their bare hands. But hands were made to lift, to open, to reach, not to carry the whole world. That's why surrender is not failure. It's wisdom. It's not giving up. It's giving over. Giving it to the one who knows the end from the beginning. The one who sees every tear, hears every cry, and walks beside you even when you can't feel it. So if you're tired, if the load has gotten too much, if the weight of life is pressing in on every side, this is your moment. This is your invitation. You don't have to collapse under the weight. You don't have to fight alone. You don't have to pretend everything's fine when your soul is breaking. There's a greater strength waiting for you. There's a love deeper than your pain. There's a peace that isn't shaken by the storm. All you have to do is let go. There are moments in life when the struggle becomes real. So real it shakes you to your core. You wake up, and the weight is already there. It sits heavy on your chest before your feet even touch the floor. Maybe you're facing a health battle no one understands. Maybe you're fighting for your family, your peace, your sanity. Maybe you're pushing through depression, anxiety, loneliness that seems to echo through every room you enter. And in those times, it can feel like the whole world has gone silent. People may walk beside you, but they can't feel what you feel. They can't hear the storm that rages in your mind. You smile, you nod, but inside, you're barely holding on. And deep down, a voice whispers, "You're on your own." But that is not the truth. That is the lie that keeps so many bound in fear and despair. You are not alone in your struggle, even when the room is empty, even when the phone doesn't ring, even when your prayers feel like they hit the ceiling and fall back down. There is a presence that never leaves. There is a strength that doesn't come from within you, but surrounds you. A divine strength, a supernatural comfort, that holds you steady when everything else is falling apart. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but it's there, closer than the air in your lungs. Every trial you've walked through, every tear you've cried in the dark, every silent scream that never made it past your lips, none of it has gone unnoticed. You were never meant to walk this road alone. The Creator of all things knows your name. He knows your pain. He knows the battle you're facing. And He's not distant. He's not passive. He's not watching from afar. He is walking with you, step by step through the fire, through the storm, through the valley. That's the power of divine strength. It doesn't mean you won't have hard days. It doesn't mean the struggle will disappear. It means you will not be crushed by it. It means you will not be defeated. Because there's a power greater than your fear, a peace stronger than your chaos, a love deeper than your wounds. And that strength becomes real, not when everything is going well, but when everything seems lost. That's when the presence of God becomes most evident, not in comfort, but in crisis. So many people walk around carrying silent battles. They wear masks. They say they're fine. But deep inside, they're broken. And they think, maybe I don't have enough faith. Maybe I've done something wrong. Maybe I'm just not strong enough. But friend, divine strength is not about your performance. It's about your dependence. It's not about being perfect. It's about trusting the one who is. He's not waiting for you to clean yourself up. He's not looking for perfect prayers or flawless behavior. He's looking for a heart that says, I can't do this without you. And the moment you say that, something shifts. The battle may still rage around you, but you begin to fight differently. Not with fear, but with faith. Not with your fists, but with surrender. You begin to lean into a strength that doesn't run out when your energy does. A strength that holds you when you can't stand. That carries you when you've got nothing left to give. That whispers hope when everything around you screams despair. Divine strength isn't always loud. It isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's the quiet courage to get up and face another day. Sometimes it's the stillness in your soul when the world is falling apart. Sometimes it's the inner knowing that though you're weak, you're not forsaken. That though the struggle is real, the victory is certain. Not because of who you are, but because of who walks beside you. When you look back over your life, you'll see it. You'll see the moments when you should have fallen, but didn't. When you should have given up, but somehow kept going. When you had no answers, but peace came anyway. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't your own strength. That was divine grace holding you together. That was the unseen hand of God, pulling you through what should have broken you. And that same hand is still holding you now. So if you're in a fight, if the struggle is more than you can bear, don't believe the lie that you're alone. You're not. There is a strength greater than the storm you're in. There is a love stronger than the pain you feel. There is a presence that never leaves, never sleeps, never lets go. You may feel weak, but you are not abandoned. You may feel forgotten, but you are deeply loved. And if you'll just lean in, if you'll just take the step to say I trust you, even when I don't understand, even when I'm hurting, you'll find that strength rising within you. You'll find peace in the chaos, light in the darkness, hope in the middle of your most hopeless hour. There will be people who walk away. There will be friends who don't understand. There will be times when the silence feels deafening. But divine strength is not measured by who's around you. It's measured by who is within you. And that strength will never fail. It will never run out. It will never leave you where it found you. The fire may come, but it will not consume you. The flood may rise, but it will not drown you. The night may fall, but morning will come, not because of your power, but because of the one whose strength has no limit, and whose presence never leaves your side, even in the hardest part of the journey, when you can't see the next step or feel the light at the end of the tunnel. Know this: He's still there, working, moving, surrounding you with grace and strength that will carry you all the way through the struggle, until the day you rise stronger than you ever thought possible, and look back, not with pride, but with deep gratitude, that in the hardest season of your life, you were never truly alone. There comes a point in life, when the burdens become too much. You wake up every morning, with a weight on your chest, a heaviness in your soul, that words cannot explain. The demands of life pull you in every direction: family, finances, health, relationships, responsibilities. One moment you think you've got it under control, and the next it all starts slipping through your fingers. You smile on the outside, but deep inside, you're tired, worn out, overwhelmed. It feels like the storms just won't let up. You try harder, you plan more, you push further, but it feels like nothing changes. And that's when discouragement sets in. That's when the voice of defeat begins to whisper in your ear, telling you that you're not enough, that you'll never make it, that the weight is too heavy, and your strength is too small. But I want to tell you something powerful, something that can shift your whole perspective. Being overwhelmed does not mean you're defeated. It does not mean you are forgotten. It does not mean you've failed. It means you've reached the limit of your own strength. And that's exactly where faith steps in. That's the place where transformation begins. Because in that moment, when your strength ends, the strength of God begins to carry you. When you come to the end of yourself, you begin to discover what it means to live with a foundation, built not on feelings, not on circumstances, not on the world's empty promises, but on faith. Faith is not some lofty idea. It's not blind optimism or wishful thinking. Faith is confidence in the one who holds it all together, when everything around you is falling apart. Faith is the anchor that keeps you grounded in the storm. It's the hand that lifts you when you're sinking. It's the voice that speaks peace to your soul, when fear is screaming in your mind. Faith is not about denying the struggle. It's about standing firm in the middle of it, knowing that you're not standing alone. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself. You weren't created to be the hero of your own story. You were designed to live in communion with the one who is greater than the storms, stronger than your battles, more faithful than your circumstances. And when you begin to build your life on that kind of faith, something changes. You move from being overwhelmed to being empowered, not because your problems disappear, but because your foundation has shifted. No longer are you depending on your own strength. No longer are you held hostage by fear or anxiety. You are standing on the solid ground of divine truth, and that foundation cannot be shaken. When faith becomes your foundation, your perspective changes. You start to see challenges, not as dead ends, but as divine opportunities. You begin to understand that the valley you're walking through is not your final destination. The darkness around you is not stronger than the light within you. You recognize that your story is still being written, and the author is not finished. Faith empowers you to rise when life tries to push you down. It gives you the courage to take one more step when everything in you says to quit. It strengthens your resolve to keep believing, even when the answers haven't come, even when the breakthrough hasn't arrived. And friend, let me tell you, faith does not promise a life without storms, but it promises you will not face them alone. It promises that grace will meet you in your weakness, that mercy will lift you when you fall, that strength will rise within you when your knees start to buckle. Faith is not just for the mountain tops, it is forged in the valleys. It's in the place of brokenness that your faith becomes unshakable. It's in the fire that you discover you're not alone, that there's one walking with you, keeping you, sustaining you through it all. You see, the world tells you that to be strong, you have to have it all together. But faith says true strength is found in surrender. True power is discovered when you lay your burdens down and let the hands of God lift them up. Faith does not require perfection. It invites honesty. It says, come as you are. Bring the fear, bring the pain, bring the mess. And in that place, something holy happens. The overwhelmed soul becomes an empowered spirit. The crushed heart begins to beat with courage again. The weary mind finds rest, not because the burden is gone, but because the burden is shared. Faith is the foundation that holds you when the winds howl and the waters rise. It is the solid ground beneath your trembling feet. And when everything else fails, when the job is lost, when the friends walk away, when the diagnosis comes, when the path ahead is unclear, faith remains. It remains not because of you, but because of the one in whom your faith is placed. He is constant, he is unchanging, he is faithful even when your faith feels small. And so, when life overwhelms you, let faith empower you, not a faith built on emotion, not a faith built on convenience, but a faith rooted in truth, a faith that declares, I may be weak, but I am not alone. I may be tired, but I will not give up. I may not understand, but I trust the one who sees it all. That kind of faith turns fear into courage. It turns worry into peace. It turns the overwhelmed into the overcomer. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be the strongest one in the room. What you need is a heart that says yes to faith. Yes to believing even when it's hard. Yes to trusting even when the outcome is uncertain. Because that yes, that one decision to stand on faith, is what carries you from the place of brokenness to the place of breakthrough. It's what turns the end of your rope into the beginning of your rise. It's what takes you from merely surviving to fully living, not in your own power, but in the power of the one who is faithful to hold you, to lead you, to strengthen you day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath as you learn to live, not overwhelmed by the world, but empowered by the foundation of faith that never fails, and never falls, even when everything else does, because it was never built on you to begin with, but on the unshakable, unchanging love of the one who called you by name, and walks with you through every season, with a strength that is not shaken by circumstance, and a grace that holds you upright, when all else gives way. And as you stand in that place, something deep inside begins to awaken, not fear, not doubt, but power, the kind that doesn't come from this world, the kind that whispers to your soul in the midnight hour, and says keep going, I've got you, you're not done yet, there's more ahead, and you will make it through, not because of what you carry, but because of the one who carries you. And in that moment, the overwhelmed becomes empowered, and the storm loses its hold, because your foundation is no longer sinking sand, but solid, unmovable, unbreakable faith that carries you through whatever comes next, without ever letting go. So today, as you stand at the edge of your strength, don't give in to fear, don't let the weight of life define your worth. Lift your eyes, and place your trust in the one who never fails. Let your faith be your foundation, your anchor, your strength. You are not forgotten, you are not forsaken. You are not alone. The storms may rage, but your soul can rest, because the one who walks with you is greater than anything that stands against you. And with him, you are empowered to rise, to endure, and to overcome, no matter what comes.